Go.
Good afternoon, guys, and good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Jeff,
I'm Romel.
And my name is Phil.
and
We
our
are
report for today,
It's all about.
it's all about leadership.
Uh, Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Phil, and I am the first reporter. So our topic is all about leadership. Lead- Leadership. Leadership is a most very important, if not the most important factors in the success of organizations. This has been pointed out time and again throughout history by leaders like Abraham Lincoln, Julius Caesar, Napoleon Bonaparte, Oliver Cromwell, and many others in business. The exemplar the example leadership abilities of Walt Disney, Bill Gates, Akito Morita, John D. Rockefeller, and many others are proof that with the right kinds of leadership, organization can succeed. What is leadership? Leadership may be defined as the process of guiding and directing the behavior of the people in the organizations in order to achieve certain objectives. In competitive situation, it is often leadership that spells the difference between success and failure. Even when the organization is short of material resources, the right leadership can sometimes get people so inspired that they are able to perform credibility. Leadership is that element that convinces members of an organization to behave in such a manner that will facilitate the accomplishment of the goals of the organization. The difference between leadership and management. Leading is one of the functions of management. The other function consists of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. Without a sufficient leadership, these other functions can be rendered useless because people will not be motivated to put them in operations. Managers and leaders are different in the following ways. 1. Number 1. Managers are rational problem solvers, while the leaders are intuitive and more visionary. Number 2. The managers perform the other administrative functions such as planning, organizations, decision making, and communicating. Number 3. Leaders are primarily concerned with results. Managers are concerned with efficiency of results. Leaders obtain their power from below. Managers obtains their power from above. Kinds of leadership. Formal. Refers to the process of influence others to pursue official objectives. Number 2. Informal. Refers to the process of influencing others to pursue unofficial objectives. Managers and leaders are different in the following ways. Managers, rational, the problem solvers, while the leaders are intuitive. It is more visionary. Managers perform other administrative functions such as planning, organizing, decision making, and communicating. Leaders are primarily concerned with results. Managers are concerned with efficient results. Leaders obtain their power from below. Manager obtains their power from above.
1, 2, 3.
Power and the leader. The main concern of the leader is to influence people to behave as he wants them to. The leaders, however, can influence only if he possesses the power, and this emanates only from others, the group, or the leaders. The basis of the powers that the leader may use to convince subordinates may be classified as either 1. Position power. It is that power derived as a consequence of the leader positions. It consists of the following types: legitimate power, reward power, coercive power. Number 2, personal power. The leader's personal power results from his personal characteristic. It may be any or both of the following: expert power, and reference power.
My name is Jeff and I am the second reporter. Theories about leadership. There are various theories about leadership and they may be regarded as attempts to explain the various factors that may be identified with successful leadership. Through the years, eminent researchers have forwarded their own theories about leadership. Their outputs may be classified as follows. Figures about leadership theories. Trait, behavioral, and contingency. And Ohio State University Studies and York Studies, University of Michigan Studies, and Managerial Grid of Blake and Moulton. And the Continuum of Leadership Behavior, Contingency Leadership Model, and Path Goal Model, House and Mitchell. Hershey Bernhard, Situational Leadership Theory, Leadership Member Exchange Approach, Normative Decision Model, and Maxey Kraneman. Trait theories. Trait theories of leadership consider leaders to possess common traits. Early researchers on leadership placed emphasis on traits and had resulted in the determination of a wide span of personal attributes, such as physical appearance, intelligence, and self-confidence. It was found out that the average person who occupies a position of leadership exceeds the average number of his group to some degree on the following factors. Number 1, sociability. Number 2, persistence. Number 3, initiative. Number 4, knowing how to get things done. Number 5, self-confidence. Number 6, alertness to and insight into situations. Number 7, cooperativeness. And number 8, popularity. Number 9, adaptability. And number 10, verbal facility. Later, researchers, guided by the findings, drafted a more general view of what good leaders have in common. This consists of the following. Number 1, extroversion. Extroversion is individuals who like being around people and are able to assert themselves. Number 2, conscientiousness. Conscientiousness is individuals who are disciplined and keep commitments that they make. Number 3, openness. Individuals who are creative and flexible. And the last number 4, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, individuals who are able to understand and manage their personal feelings and emotions, as well as there are emotions toward other individuals, events, and objects. A single statement that describes what trait theories assume is that leaders are born than made. Behavioral theories. After some years, trait theories were found to be inadequate in explaining the basis for effective leadership. As a result, researchers shifted their interest to behaviors exhibited by specific leaders. What the researchers developed came to be known as behavioral theories of leadership. These theories propose that specific behaviors differentiate leaders from non-leaders. 4 theories related to leadership behavioral will be presented in this section. These are as follows. Number 1, the Ohio State University Studies. Number 2, the University of Michigan Studies. Number 3, the York Studies. And number 4, the Managerial Grid. Ohio State University Studies. The two dimensions were referred to as initiating structure and consideration. University of Michigan Studies. The effectiveness criteria used are as follows. Productivity per work hour or other similar measures of the organization's success in achieving its production goals. Number 2, job satisfaction of members of the organizations. Number 3, turnover, absenteeism, and grievance rates. Number 4, cost. Number 5, scrap loss. And the last number, employee and managerial motivation.
I'm Romel and I'm the second reporter. In this course, studies and the research identify the two distinct styles of leadership. Number 1, job-centered and employee-centered. Job-centered managers set tight work standards, organize tasks carefully, prescribe the work methods to be followed, and supervise closely. Employee-centered managers encourage group members to participate in goal setting and other work decisions, and help to ensure high performance and by engendering trust and mutual respect. Ukel studies. Other research like Gary M. Ukel made one step further than the Michigan and Ohio State studies. He and his colleagues tried to seek answers to specific behavior of leaders for varying situations. They were able to isolate 18 behaviors consisting of the following. 1 is performance emphasis. The extent to which of leaders emphasize the importance of subordinate performance, tries to improve productivity and efficiency, try to keep subordinates to working up to their capacity and checks on their performance. Second, consideration. The extent to which a leader is friendly, supportive, and considerate in his her behavior towards the subordinates and tries to be fair and objective. Praise recognition. The extent to which a leader provides a praise and recognition to subordinates with effective performance, shows appreciation for their special efforts and contributions, and make sure they get credit for their helpful ideas and suggestions. Fourth, the decision participation. The extent to which a leader consults a subordinate and otherwise allows them to influence in his or her decision. Training coaching. The extent to which a leader determines training needs for subordinates and provides any necessary training and coaching. Problem solving. The extent to which a leader takes an initiative in proposing solutions to serious work-related problems and act decisively to deal with such as problem when prompt solution is needed. Work facilitation. The extent to which a leader obtains for subordinates any necessary supplies, equipment, support service, and other resources, eliminate problems in other work environment, and removes other obstacles that interfere the work. 8. Inspiration. 9. Structure, reward, consistency, anatomy delegation, role qualification, goal setting, information dissemination, planning, coordinating, representation, interaction, facilitation, conflict management, and criticism discipline. Contingency theories. The trait and behavioral theories failed to point out the leadership situation are not similar, and it is easy to presume that there is no leadership style that will fit all situations. The line of thinking led these researchers to engage in research activities that were later called contingency. The individual researchers share a fundamental assumption. Successful leadership occurs when the leadership style matches the situation. 1. Continuum of Leadership Behavior by Tannenbaum and Skid. 2. The Contingency Leadership Model by Fiedler. 3. The Path Goal by House and Mitchell. 4. The Hershey-Blanchard Situational Leadership Theories. 5. The Leader-Member Exchange Approach by Garen. 6. Normative Decision Model by Broom and Jago. And 7. Much by REM Model. Continuum of Leadership Behavior. The first contingency model of leadership was developed by Robert Tannenbaum and Warren H. Skid, and is referred to the continuum of leadership behavior. This model consists of 7 model alternative ways for managers to approach decision making, depending on how participation they want to allow subordinates in decision making process. Alternative behavior of leadership. Number 1. Manager make decision and announce it. 2. Manager sells decision. 3. Manager present ideas, invites question. 4. Manager present tentative decision subject to change. 5. Manager presents problem, gets suggestion, make decisions. 6. Managers define limits asked to a group to make decision. 7. Managers permit subordinates to function within limits defined by superior. The Contingency Leadership Model. This is a leadership model developed by Fred Fiedler, which proposes that effective group performance depends on proper match between leadership style and the degree on which situation favors the leader. Fiedler measures the leadership style through the use of the least prepared coworker or LPC scale, which is actually an instrument that assesses the degree of positive or negative feeling held by a person toward to someone with whom he or she least prepared to work. Low score on the LPC is a reflection of the leader who is in task-oriented or controlling, and it with structuring leadership style. High scores reflect a leadership style that is relationship-oriented or one that is passive and considerate.
I'm John Cardaya, the last reporter. This is the Path Goal Model. This is a leadership model developed Robert House and Terence Mitchell that states that the leader's job is to create a work environment through structured support and rewards that helps employees reach the organization goals. The two major roles involved are 1. The creation of a good orientation, and 2. The improvement of the path towards the goal so that they will be attained. Developed by Paul Hershey and Kenneth Blanchard, the Situational Leadership Theory, or SLT, suggests that the leader's style should be determined by matching it with the maturity level or readiness of each subordinate. The leader must know followers' readiness and then use a leadership style that fits the level. Readiness refers to the ability and willingness of subordinates to take responsibility for direction their own behavior. Readiness consists of two concerns. 1. Job readiness or task competence, and 2. Psychological readiness or commitment. The leader-member exchange approach. This refers to the leadership theory developed by George Green and his associates, which recognize that leaders develop unique working relationships with each group member. Leaders and their followers exchange information, resources, and role expectations that determine the quality of their interpersonal relationships. The effect of leader-member relations come into view when the leader, knowingly or unknowingly, creates in-group and out-groups within the organizations. Subordinates within groups status will have higher performance rating, less turnover, and greater satisfactions. The normative decision model, also known as the leader participation model and the decision-making model of the leadership. The normative decision model was developed by Victor and Philip Yeton. Some years later, the model was developed by Virum and Arthur Jago to make it more accurate. The model views leadership as a decision-making processing which the leader examines certain factors within the situation to determine which decision-making style will be the most effective. Mosaic, your main model. This model was developed by John P. Mosaic Renan, and it suggests that participation behavior is concerned with the degree to which subordinates are allowed to be involved in decision making. Thank you.